And Jesus said, Ye shall receive power. After that the Holy Ghost is come upon you. And ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem, and in all Judea, and in Samaria, and unto the uttermost parts of the earth. Welcome to today's program, It's Really Supernatural, Acts of the Holy Spirit. I'm your host, Henry Schaefer. I believe in the supernatural, and God is on the move in these last days. Let's move into the program and see another chapter that could be written in the book of Acts. Well, hello and welcome, CSRA. Welcome to another episode of It's Really Supernatural. I'm your host for this evening. We're going to take you from the land of doubt and unbelief and cast you over the wall to the edge of the boundaries of your faith and take you over into the land of the supernatural tonight. It is Friday. Is that the 12th up there, everybody? The 11th. That's Friday, the 11th. And August the 11th. And if you listen at any other time than this, you're listening to a rebroadcast of It's Really Supernatural. I've got a house full here tonight, so I'm going to let them start introducing themselves to everybody here.
JFK in the house.
Hello, brother.
Bill Turner's in the house.
And we have one more here
Dana
as well.
Turner.
Hello, Sister Dana. Good to see everybody here in the studio. So we're going to go ahead and right now, if you're tuned in to It's Really Supernatural, you can check us out by going anywhere in the world. If you're getting out of your vehicle, just click on, go to cwchrist.com, click on that red button. Anywhere in the world that you got an internet connection, you can listen to It's Really Supernatural right now. Hallelujah. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You got something for me?
Yeah,
Sister
Rachel's tuned in, and she says, hey, what you got for us tonight?
Yeah, well, we've got alphabet soup tonight.
Alphabet soup. Said Fran Schaefer's watching us also.
So y'all go ahead and take this thing here. I got to get logged into my Facebook so I can get them on Facebook here real quick. All right.
All right. So I'm not exactly sure, but I was watching a video coming out here tonight.
That's it. There we go.
And it was Perry Stone, and he was talking about the prophetic, the presidents, the prophetic stuff, and he was comparing, how things happen in a silical. Is that the way he pronounced it?
I think
silical thing.
Repeat every 100 years.
Yeah, repeat every 100 years, and he was naming all those different facts and stuff. How history repeats. So it was pretty cool how he was comparing Lincoln to Kennedy. And how they were, the differences, and it was like 100-year cycles and all these different things. And
I think everybody's heard that Lincoln was killed in the Ford Theater, and Kennedy was shot in a Ford Lincoln
vehicle. Yeah. So,
but he went even farther.
There was it was a lot of coincidence. We was listening to on the way here, and I was like, wow, pretty interesting.
I think it was 35.
But he was talking about prophetic stuff and how that it always involves, he said, I'm not trying to be political, but prophetic stuff always involves leaders and nations and stuff like that. He said you can't help it. And so that's what he was talking about,
especially on his scale.
And we didn't get to listen to all of it because we got here and it was getting time for the program to start. So
and Jason wouldn't let us listen. He had to talk and talk
and keep on right. I know that Dana Works was in the kitchen, and we were talking right before we came on air, and
the green room.
In the green room, and she said, the green room.
Yeah, we
said that we should talk about the Jerusalem syndrome.
Oh, talk to us about the Jerusalem syndrome then.
Well, I was going to get Dana Works if she was still in the green room to get her to come in and tell about it, because it was pretty interesting.
I think she exited.
No, she's still here. I think she's here.
Somebody
We're going to grab her.
Somebody get her microphone there real quick.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard it yet.
She's on 5, and it's pretty interesting.
The Jerusalem syndrome.
The Jerusalem syndrome. She's going to be on number 5.
Right here.
Just tell us what we were talking about, Dana.
She's ready to go right here.
Dana Works.
Now they just got off the program as for me and my house,
That's
and they really messed people's mind up with that. All that witchcraft stuff, or all that superstitious stuff is what it was.
Yeah, right.
Are we superstitious? All right, I'm gonna bring you on. You're in the studio now with us. All right, what you got for us?
We were just talking about this phenomenon that happens when citizens from foreign countries take a pilgrimage to Israel, and they have a supernatural experience where they'll think that they're Jesus, and this is known, if you're from Israel, this is known as Jerusalem syndrome, and it's a very well documented supernatural thing. Now we really know what's happening.
So this has happened to you, or have you just heard about it?
And I mean, they'll do crazy things and they're compelled, oh, Jesus told me to do it. So obviously we know that's not true, but what's behind this, what they're calling a syndrome,
Yeah, go ahead and tell us what. Go ahead.
Well, look, I just looked it up. I'm going to read you what it says here. It says Jerusalem syndrome is a group of mental phenomena involving the presence of either religiously themed obsessive ideas, delusions, or other psychosis-like experiences that are triggered by a visit to the city of Jerusalem.
Yes.
So demons.
Wow.
So there's a lot of footage on this.
I'm glad you said it, and I didn't have to say it.
That's
right.
Yeah, that sounds like a demon to
I
me.
mean, it says the best known, although not the most prevalent manifestation of Jerusalem syndrome is the phenomenon whereby a person who seems previously balanced and devoid of any signs of psychopathy becomes psychotic after arriving in Jerusalem. The psychosis is characterized by an intense religious theme and typically resolves to full recovery after a few weeks of being removed from the area.
Well,
wow.
Now, it could be something in the water.
And they say that this happens specifically because, like, a lot of people, from America and other places will go to Jerusalem. They want to see, like, the Stations of the Cross. They go there around Easter time. And the people in Jerusalem, their hospitals are set up to receive these people that are going to lose it while they're there.
Yeah, because I think going over there, you're real open because you want the huge religious experience. Because that's where Jesus walked, and you see actual places where he stood and all. So
well, it says that it's not endemic to one single religion or denomination, but has affected Jews, Christians, and Muslims of many different backgrounds.
Well, what this makes me think of, it takes my mind down the path of all these people. Like the women will say, I killed all my children. God told me to do it.
Right.
God, people are hearing voices and they'll swear to the grave that was God's voice, and God would, So this is very, why is this happening more and more? It is a phenomenon.
That is amazing to me.
I'd never heard of it.
I'd never heard of it either. So when she was talking about it, I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing to me.
It says the best known, although not the most prevalent manifestation of Jerusalem syndrome is the phenomenon whereby a person who seemingly previously balanced and devoid of any signs of this becomes psychotic after arriving in Jerusalem. It's characterized by an intense religious theme and typically resolves to fully recover after a couple of weeks, or after being removed from the area. So what we've learned. Do I need to go down this road? Go ahead and
go down it.
Well, then, so that we know that there are principalities and powers that are over certain areas.
Right.
Demonic forces. Not to say demons, but demonic forces are over certain areas. So if there is a strong, a demonic power over that Jerusalem area, and please don't everybody think, everybody's got it. Well, that's where Jesus' footstool is, and that's where. I said, if it was, then why do you have a Muslim? Why do you have the Dome of the Rock sitting right on the Temple Mount?
Yep.
I mean, that is a totally a side. I have to be careful about what I say because we get censored.
Sure.
If we say a whole lot about, we'll get censored.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Somebody will flag one of our things, and we won't be able to stream to YouTube for a while. Because we say something derogatory about Muslims. But even if you say it in truth, and it might be kind of derogatory, but that area over there is demonic. You got to realize that because you have Muslims who controlling the whole area over there. And that's not Christian at all, totally antichrist in the area. And then you have the Jews. Watch this here. You even still have the Jews who were there. And I want y'all to understand is that if you believe in the Jewish faith, you can't be saved.
Wow. Okay.
That was a cricket, y'all. That was a cricket. You can't be saved because they don't believe Jesus is the Messiah.
That's right.
And there's only one way you can be saved. That's through the blood of Jesus Christ. So that's enough. That's a cult.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, but these are our Jewish background. That's our friends and everything, and they were all pointed. But if you go down that road and you deny Jesus as Messiah, then you can't be saved. You're a cult.
Right. You're definitely opening some doors there.
Exactly. So now we Christians are going there. We're going into the area to see the things of our Christian faith and all, and we're walking in, and you got to realize you're open to this experience. You're open to. I know we just lost our listening audience. Hello, everybody. I'll take it all back. I'll take it all back. But they're going into a place that is totally demonized. When you get over there, and then all of a sudden you have this experience that while you're over there, you're opened yourself up to it, and then.
It's so interesting that the people that deny Jesus Christ, the spirit that comes on the visitors makes them think they're Jesus Christ. Because they denied the Messiah, it's like all these people go over there and feel like a false Messiah. This is interesting in itself to me.
Yes. Right. And one of these things, it says in type 1, it says, for an example, an affected person may believe himself to be an important historical religious figure or may be influenced by important religious ideas and concepts, such as causing, the coming of the Messiah or the second coming of Christ.
Bless their hearts.
I mean, wow.
So we need to pray for those people.
Yeah.
But it gives 3, it's type 1, type 2, and type 3. So that's amazing.
I see the type. I see the type 1, type 2. Imposes previous psychotic illness.
Now, if anybody in the listening audience knows someone
or has been there and
that would be cool.
Yes, we need. You can't call it.
Have you ever thought you were? Because I know there's some people in church who think they're Jesus.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the fella in Texas that the FBI they blew up his whole compound, David?
Koresh. Yeah.
That he was saying, "Yeah, I'm Jesus," and everybody's like, "Well, he's got glasses on."
Oh my goodness! Well,
listen. Hey, I got to see if there's anybody. Is there anybody on Facebook?
Let me tell you. Let me give a few shout outs. I got a few. Right?
Eight
Are they still watching us?
We do. We have 8 people watching right now.
Hi, everybody. Hi, hey Faye. How you doing?
I want to say hey to Regina.
Rachel, good to see you.
She's a follower of Your Morning Manna too, and thanks for watching us, Regina. Here tonight, y'all all know Regina. She comes to the church.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Rachel's good people.
Yeah, and even Rachel, she's watching us.
We got Rachel squared now.
Rachel squared
and Walter squared.
Right.
Yep.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Rachel and Walter squared.
Yep. There we go. And so the Jesus syndrome. Where did you learn about this one?
Jerusalem syndrome. I just sent Dana. It was on YouTube. There's a guy I watched called Jason A. And this came out a few months ago around Easter time, and I never saw it before. It was on the video. Yeah.
I would have thought it had, a religious experience, but I never would have thought it would amount to something like that. That's awful. That's just awful, Daryl. You got a 50-50 chance, so if me and you go over there, Jared, one of us going to get it.
I don't know. It makes me want to say, maybe I don't want to do that,
Right. Would this video be something that would be good to show?
I'm getting ready to get it.
At about 8.5 minutes on there is where I believe it starts, because it's a 14-minute video. But
so what do y'all think? What do you think's behind it?
Well, it's definitely not of God.
I mean, you got to let people know. Well, first of all, you got to establish.
That's the name of the video.
You have to establish it. Shocking footage of something you have to see.
Yeah, right.
Is that it?
That's it. That's what she typed.
Well, it's definitely not of God. So.
I mean, I can't imagine going. I mean, because I'd love to go over to Jerusalem. I would love to go over to Israel and see the Holy Land and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
just to walk and to be in those places, just to. But I can't imagine somebody actually going over there and thinking,
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
here it is. I got it.
You got it?
I do.
It's at 8 minutes and 30 seconds is where you need
right
to be.
around there.
Right around there,
8 minutes, 30 seconds.
Right
I'm bringing
there.
it around right now. Right there is what I'm
about
bringing
there.
it.
Yeah, and that's him.
Wow. Foreign visitors having psychotic religious delusions. Wow. This incident took place just before the beginning of Good Friday.
That's right, David. That man, police say, believed he was Jesus Christ. After crashing into that home on Blackstone Road, he stripped off all his clothes.
Police were called to this Goodwill store in Muncie Saturday after a man began yelling, trying to get people to convert to Islam, even calling himself God.
He just turned violent really quickly and grabbed her by the throat, and the police officer teased him, which didn't faze him a bit.
Lisa, they said it was unlike anything they've ever seen before. 41-year-old Kenneth Crowder ran around naked through this Melbourne neighborhood saying that he was God.
Since 1980.
That's interesting, too. Why 1980?
Yeah, 1980 Jerusalem psychiatrist.
But
wow.
for some, the city's holiness causes psychological distress.
It might sound surprising, but the city's hospitals are also getting ready. Every year, Israel experiences dozens of cases of Jerusalem syndrome.
Jerusalem syndrome, to be exact. What is this syndrome that afflicts dozens of tourists every year?
50 cases a year where tourist delusions are so strong that police, mental health professionals are forced to intervene.
Here to discuss with me today is Dr. Moshe Kalyan, the district psychologist of Jerusalem.
Not Muslims.
Oh, okay. Jews.
No, they don't happen to Muslims.
Syndrome is not
a disease.
A disease. It's not a medical entity. It's more, we could call it a phenomenon.
No, it's demons.
So these people, when you're sitting with them and you're speaking with them, what are they telling you? They really truly believe that they came for
yes, they're,
a mission in Jerusalem to save Jerusalem, or like
to save humanity.
To save humanity, like Jesus Christ.
Give birth to baby Jesus.
And she wasn't even pregnant.
And some of them believe that they are the new Jesus, or they represent the second coming of Jesus, or there was once a woman who thought that she's going to give birth to the new baby Jesus, and that's why she came to Jerusalem. They sometimes hear voices or have these ideas that they have a special mission given to them by God.
Temporarily lose their minds. Wow.
The only issue is that the sense of breathtaking excitement has a strange tendency to lead to psychotic outbursts, where tourists suffer delusions that they're figures from the Bible or harbingers of the end of days.
It's unbelievable.
I know.
Started wearing sheets as a gown and calling out verses from the Bible.
Or the Austrian man who flew into a rage when his hotel's kitchen staff refused to prepare the Last Supper for him.
Because those tourists who come to Jerusalem and act like biblical figures, they see the Jerusalem as a stage or a theater stage.
South American tourists attempted to destroy Islamic holy places, replace them with Jewish ones. Hope to prompt the Antichrist to reappear and force the second coming of Jesus.
A man claiming to be Jesus allegedly attacks his neighbor, who he claims is the Antichrist.
Yeah, the victim says the Jesus man came at him with a tire iron, but that's not all. He says the Jesus man also shot at him with a BB gun.
Dr. Moshe Kalyan, thank you for a very, very interesting talk. Let's hope that none of us will think that he's Jesus Christ.
Which he does by counterfeiting and camouflaging. He tries to imitate the work of God, and he does it very effectively. He's the great deceiver.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something there.
I mean, that just...
I wonder, too, is that the same spirit as in the States? All these people, they drown their babies, they kill their wife, and they say, God told me to do it.
God told them to do it, right.
A son of Sam.
Yeah, but what do y'all think about this? Now, I know a couple of people have been to Israel, and they said most of the tour guides for the Christians are Muslims.
Yes,
wow.
Right, exactly.
So we need to know, if we go there to tour, although we have good intentions, to spiritually protect ourselves.
Absolutely. Right.
Because it's not, it's hostile territory.
Wow.
Well, you know, when you're talking about it, you're going into a rich environment of demonic oppression.
Yeah.
In the area. Again, of course, you have Jews, you have Muslims, and you have Christians that claim Jerusalem as their holy city.
Right.
And so when you have that, then you actually have in the natural, you have three entities that are at war with each other in the natural. And then on the spiritual side of it, first natural, then spiritual, then you have three strong groups that are pulling at the truth, claiming that site, that site in the natural, in the spiritual realm, in that. And you talk about the deception and seeing all this stuff. There's no telling to us what people have reported supernaturally to see what they're, and we know there's UFO activity there, because you remember where they had the UFO that came right down to the top of the dome and claimed and went up and went out the top of the dome. And that was a video we showed that on here.
Wow.
And then I know of a person who just recently went to the Dead Sea, and you can probably see some of this in one of their videos. I mean, a well-known person went to the Dead Sea and was shooting video there at the Dead Sea. And while they were there at the Dead Sea, in the video, then all of a sudden there's a person that shows up, and there are orbs. They're floating all around in cameras. You see these orbs floating around. Then all of a sudden this person shows up, and around the Dead Sea where they had it was at Sodom and Gomorrah, that there was a person that showed up. A couple persons showed up that were homosexual. That just showed up out of nowhere, out in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm talking about? And they said, this is just too weird.
Wow.
That's the fellow that invited you to go with him.
Yeah, and I mean, they're telling me the stories. So so when you're telling me about this Jerusalem syndrome, and we're studying about it and the supernatural things, there's supernatural things that are happening everywhere over there.
Right.
You know, because they're demonically enriched, and of course you say they're angelically enriched as well. Well, if we say that there are on the natural things fighting, then on the spiritual side there's things that are happening as well.
Yes.
And you have to be aware of it when you go.
Yes.
Wow. I can't imagine, going over there and thinking,
it makes. I mean, you go over there expecting to get closer with Christ, and
not actually think you are Him, right?
That's just awful.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to my brother in Tennessee, Michael. Good to see you all the way in Tennessee.
Yes,
praise
Michael.
the Lord.
Yes.
Said he loves the show. Yep, we're talking about Jerusalem syndrome. Some of them think they're Jesus that are out there. Who give us some more insight to what y'all are thinking about this?
Know, right? And also part of it we read too is not just Jesus, but other historical characters.
Yeah.
They could think they're biblical characters over there.
Abraham
or whoever. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Melissa Christmas Hall and to Paul Babb. We got Staff Sogi that joined us. Faye Thomas. I'm trying to scroll down and see. We got a bunch of them here. But anyway, thanks for listening to It's Really Supernatural.
Yeah, we tried to get Staff Sogi to get back on the radio with us over here so they can do their live show again. Get them back on. Somebody beat the doors down to get John and Mundry back on the radio here with us. Preacher to preacher.
That's right.
We miss them. Give them a shout out as well. It's good to see everybody.
So you notice when that man gets on there, he says, what did he call it? A phenomenon.
Yeah.
That's as far as they're going to take it. Or if somebody here commits crimes and they say, God told me to do it, then what do they say? Well, they got a psychiatric problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And but the interesting part to me is that when they leave that region, it goes away. Or does
because
it?
they get out from under the banner of that strong man that's in the area there.
Makes me wonder though, does it really go away? You know what I'm saying?
They just quit manifesting the symptoms more right?
Right.
So we need to be careful, of the principalities over all the different places that we visit. When you go to, different countries with different beliefs.
Because we've often talked about. I know pastors preached before. Our guys that go over there, in wartime, and they come back with all these different.
Majority come back.
So here's y'all were talking about the tour guides.
Mm-hmm.
Tour guides are aware of the Jerusalem syndrome and of the significance of each declarations. May at this point refer to the tourist to an institution for, and they say, hey, we got the Red Cross right over here.
Right.
So you're feeling this, you need to go. Hey, you need
they
to
recognize
do it.
it.
You need to do it quick. You need to get over here.
Got the Spiritual Freedom Network on site.
In an attempt to preempt the stages of the syndrome. If unattended, these stages are usually unavoidable. Here's what some of the stages are.
Okay.
When these people start going through it. A need to be clean and pure. Obsession with taking baths. I guess they're, this
is crazy.
This spirit, is on them. You got to, of course, it's a deceiving spirit.
Sure it is.
So you got to start taking these baths to clean yourself. Take baths or shower. Compulsive fingernail and toenail cutting.
Wow.
Getting them clean, get them cut back like they need to be. Another one is preparation, often with the aid of hotel bed linen for a long, ankle-length toga or gown. Which if we're let's do this here. We're going to make some money when we go over there, right?
Okay.
No, we're just going to set a little shop up.
Uh-huh.
So we get us a little shop. It's the Jesus Syndrome shop.
They
do it with glasses. Like these glasses that are coming for the
eclipse,
the August 21st eclipse.
Right.
I mean, people know in a year they are making these glasses, so they can sell them out at this time here, so that they know that people are going to need the glasses. We know there's a place, there's a need for this.
Right.
I mean, you can have a shop on your side of town. I have a shop on my side of town. Jesus Syndrome. They'll probably tell us that we are promoting this.
Probably, yes.
So but the thing is, what we would do is we need to have. This is so cool. We could have a wall. We could have a wall with pictures on it where people have been to Jesus Syndrome, and you could put them on the wall. This is really supernatural, isn't it? Anyway, here we go. So preparation, often with the aid of hotel bed linen, of a long ankle-length toga-like gown, which always has to be what color, everybody?
White.
It's got to be white.
Yes.
Can't be any other color. The need to shout, pardon me, psalms and verses from the Bible. Got to get the word out, or to sing hymns or spirituals loudly. Another one, manifestations of this type serve as a warning, to hotel personnel and tourist guides who should then attempt to have the tourist taken to professional treatment.
Wow.
Failing this, the last two stages will develop. Are you ready for them?
I'm ready for them.
Here's the last one. A procession or march to one of Jerusalem's holy places. You got to realize how they're dressed.
Wow.
Yes.
How they're dressed in a toga, in a white bed linen that's got Hilton on it. They know where you came. They know where you came from.
Yeah.
And you got this white toga, and you're shouting psalms loudly, or you're singing spirituals loudly.
Okay.
And so here's what will happen, and they're going to go where? They march to one of the Jerusalem's most holy places. Holy place example would be like the Western Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see Jesus showing up at the Western Wall in a toga?
Mm-hmm.
All right, look at this one here. Deliver. Oh, look at this here. Woo! This is number 7. I'm only glad they got 7 points because you could preach about this all night long. The 7th is delivery of a sermon in a holy place.
Wow.
No, isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, not only you're going with your toga with Hilton written on it, and you just passed by the Wailing Wall, the Western Wall. You went by there to say your prayers to get your blessing. Now you're moving on into we got to go preach somewhere.
They're setting it up for the prophets the 2 prophets that are coming to preach.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
I never thought about that.
Yep, they're setting it up.
I thought of that when you said that they thought they were old, significant biblical characters like the prophets.
That's what they're doing, because when they come over there and start prophesying,
people will go, "We saw this before."
Yeah, we don't believe it. That's that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That's a good point.
When they start turning them
You're
to
pretty
ash,
smart.
Yeah.
Start turning them to ash.
They might think differently, right?
Yeah.
Hey, this ain't a syndrome. This is the real thing here.
Somebody find that in the Bible so we can read it. Somebody do it. You're going to make me look it up on the internet here.
Mm-hmm. And she's got it.
I'll find it right here. The 2 witnesses.
Because there's always a purpose.
Right.
And in the real life, you follow the money.
Yeah.
in this, you got to follow like the Bible. So they're setting it up to where.
So the enemy's already setting it up,
right,
so that when it happens and the two witnesses are there,
yeah,
because that's got
the people won't pay attention to it.
So here, can I read?
Sure, go ahead.
You can get it, Revelation 11. If you want to get it, and then I'll let you read off on it. It's at Revelation 11, and there was given me. And what we're talking about is that the deception is by the Jesus syndrome. This is a good show. You know, we think about this kind of stuff. They might give us our own television show someday.
Right, they might. Yeah, they might.
We gotta.
But, you know, we kind of put all this stuff together. So here's what happens is the Jerusalem syndrome, Jesus syndrome, people go over there. When they visit Jerusalem, they think they're Jesus. So we Christians know that there are supposed to be two witnesses that show up on the streets that look like Jesus, you know, but they're actually prophets out of the, there will be two that will stand in Jerusalem out of the Old Testament during the first part of tribulation period, the first 3.5 years, 1,260 days. And then what will happen, they will, the Bible talks about they afflict the earth, that when people try to come against them to lock them up and put them in this,
don't go too good
in this psychiatric ward somewhere, thinking that they're crazy, that fire comes out of their mouth and consumes those all around them. And that they torment all the people who come around them. So out of a Revelation, we get this out of Revelation chapter 11, and I think I'm picking up at verse 11. No, Revelation 11, starting at verse 1. It's at verse 2. No, let's start at verse 1. Can you want to read it, sister, for me? Start at verse 1 and read.
All right. And there was given me a measuring rod like a staff, and someone said, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and those who worship in it. And leave out the court which is outside the temple, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the nations, and they will tread underfoot the holy city for 42 months. And I will grant authority to my two witnesses, and they will prophesy for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. There are 2 olive trees and 2 lampstands that stand before the Lord of the earth. And if anyone desires to harm them, fire proceeds out of their mouth and devours their enemies. And if anyone would desire to harm them in this manner, he must be killed.
Wow. They have the power to shut heaven.
Keep going?
Yeah.
These have the power to shut up the sky in order that rain may not fall during the days of their prophesying. And they have power over the waters to turn them into blood, and to smite the earth with every plague as often as they desire. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that comes up out of the abyss will make war with them and overcome them and kill them.
There you go. And and goes about the dead bodies.
Yeah. And their dead bodies will lie in the street of the great city, which mystically is called Sodom in Egypt, where also their Lord was crucified. And those from the peoples and tribes and tongues and nations will look at their dead bodies for 3.5 days, and will not permit their dead bodies to be laid in a tomb. And those who dwell on the earth will rejoice over them and make merry, and they will send gifts to one another, because these 2 prophets tormented those who dwell on the earth.
Let's go ahead and tell the rest of the story then.
Yeah.
So people know. They need to hear it.
Go ahead and,
And after 3.5 days, the breath of life from God came into them, and they stood on their feet, and great fear fell upon those who were beholding them. And they heard a loud voice from heaven saying to them, Come up here. And they went up into heaven in the cloud, and their enemies beheld them. In that hour there was a great earthquake, and 1/10 of the city fell, and 7,000 people were killed in the earthquake. And the rest were terrified, and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe is past. Behold, the third woe is coming quickly.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
Wow.
So, I mean, I think the Jerusalem syndrome is setting up.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jesus syndrome is setting up this.
That's Jerusalem syndrome.
Did I say Jerusalem? Did I say?
Yeah, you had it right.
Yeah. And it's setting up we've seen this before type
and
thing.
And
not to believe it and all the stuff. But look at here, when fire starts shooting out of the mouth, they said, we ain't never seen anything like this.
Yeah. Right.
That's a different syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, the enemy always, he has a counterfeit, so he's, he's trying his best to discredit what's going to happen and what's going to take place.
Don't this gives a lot more credence to that scripture in the Bible where it talks about when he says, "Lo, he is over here," Lo, Jesus, I'm over there.
Yes.
Lo, I'm over there. He says, don't believe it.
Don't believe
don't
that.
believe
That's
that
right.
I'm over there. And he talks about the end time. I mean, because here's what I want you to know is that just when the end time starts, a tribulation starts, this syndrome is still going to be going on.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, people, the deception will be worse than we have it now. So who's ever over there, you're going to have all these people walking around in togas saying that they're this and that and the other. But the two witnesses that stand before God, the two olive branches, olive trees, standing before God, then you'll see that they are the ones that are that, and many believe that these two witnesses are who?
I say
Elijah.
Enoch and Elijah. Some say Moses and Elijah. I don't believe that. I think
it's Enoch. Yeah.
I think it's Enoch and Elijah being the two witnesses, because they have never tasted death, and that they will, they're matter of fact, they're being preserved right now.
Right.
God is supernatural. They're not aging like we age. Where they're at, and they could be eating of the tree. I don't know. No, I'm not going to say that. But they could be eating of certain trees in the garden that's giving them, that's sustaining them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's the reason why there were certain trees that were there that were not to eat of.
Sure.
And even when we go to heaven, there's going to be certain things that we got to partake of.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not going to go there and you take one of those pills and you're forever like that. But they had certain things that they had to do. Anyway.
Well, the God, it's only been a couple days anyway, so.
I just wonder when they're going through the city and they're speaking scriptures and then they want to go give a sermon, who's imparting? If they're speaking scriptures, like it's not like you got the whole Bible memorized, who's imparting all these words to them?
And singing psalms, quoting psalms and songs, and who's giving the message? I wonder what their messages are.
Right.
Are in in that.
Well, I think part of it said that they would be some of the ones that they were preaching and telling people that they had to become more wholesome, a more wholesome life and stuff. It was on that last screen when we was up when it was describing the some of the symptoms as they would start preaching.
Hopefully, someone knows someone that's had it.
And they're going to call in.
That would be interesting.
Get in touch with us.
We got Sabrina early. She's tuned in. And
hello, Sabrina.
And Faye again. I think Faye there. Hello, Faye.
Paige Hicks.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in to It's Really Supernatural.
Yeah, if you know anyone that's experienced the Jerusalem syndrome.
Gerald, what's on your mind?
I'm just taking it all in.
He's canceling his tickets.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with these things on the other side, casting out devils.
That's right.
I know what it's like to have one too, so I don't want to put myself in harm's way.
Yeah, and here's what it is. You asked, what's the sermon? The last one, point 7, is delivery of a sermon in a holy place. And the sermon is typically based on a plea to human mankind to adopt a more wholesome, a moral, simple way of life. Such sermons are typically ill-prepared and disjointed. Well, that's the way it is on most Sunday mornings, isn't it?
Not at our church.
3 points in a poem. Send them out the door.
And it doesn't say that they get out there and proclaim Jesus Christ.
Right.
It just says do something a little different.
Right. Be more wholesome, more moral, a simple way of life.
That sounds so New Age.
Doesn't it? That's exactly what I was thinking, New Age.
Okay,
to me, it's like they're telling to go backwards, though, because you won't have as much information. Like if we give up all this information, what you're going to be? You're going to be ignorant.
Right.
So to me, it's like it's trying to make people go back in time and be ignorant, go back to the,
So how many does it affect? It says during the 13-year period in Jerusalem, they were analyzed. It was reported that 1,200 tourists with severe...
Great day.
1,200 tourists, Jerusalem-themed mental problems were referred to the clinic. That's almost like Spiritual Freedom Network.
Yeah, right.
And they come there for, I wonder how they counsel them demons. Anyway.
When they see Dr. Finn over there. Let's send him over there.
If we see him walking around in a white toga.
Right.
Brother, we need to Skype real quick. Of these, 470 were admitted to hospital. On an average, 100 such tourists have been seen annually. 40 of them requiring admission to a hospital.
Wow.
About 3 8.5 million tourists visit Jerusalem. Well, that's not too bad, then.
Wow.
They only have 1,200 think they're
Jesus
right. Each year. And anyway, living in the city, this is not something different from.
So it must take a very special person to experience that.
Wow. I
don't
guess
know.
so.
It seems like my mind can't help to think we have to be careful. Like when they're out there and everyone looks at them and says, clearly this person is going crazy, they genuinely think they're hearing from God. We got to be so careful of what voices we're hearing. We've experienced that in the last few weeks with deliverance.
Right.
People get confused and they think they're hearing God when they're not.
Right.
We got to know who's talking to us, because it can get confusing.
Yeah, because we got to get filled.
Be able to recognize,
That's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow.
Then what's the good part of? I mean, when you read all this here, is that many who experience this delusions are sane, healthy, successful businessmen, teachers, and professionals.
Wow.
And the syndrome usually affects Protestant Christians, but this also has been reported in Jews, in a rare case, Catholics. Usually lasting about 2 weeks. Most can be brought back to reality with help and have no memory. Look at this here, and have no memory of their short-lived biblical persona.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Wow. So you know that's demonic right
Yeah,
there.
that's demonic for sure.
I guess we can't get one on then.
Yeah, because it would be cool to hear a testimony,
But if they don't remember
their
it.
experience. Wow. So something's just taking them over.
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
So you think about that. Is it because you're so excited to be there that you're opened up to you want to feel the,
Right, that's
you
what
know,
I
like
think
you
it is.
go and you just want to be and walk the path
know.
that Jesus walked. You want to see, where he, you know what I'm
Well, there has
saying? And
to
then
be,
they're opened up so spiritually that,
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out
how does it get in?
Yeah.
That's what
how
I'm
does it get
thinking.
in?
Because you're over there where Jesus actually walked.
Do you? I mean, makes me think now. Well, we think about going into different places and stuff. We say, Lord, there's no transference of spirit.
Yeah.
We forbid any transference of spirit. In different places like that. So maybe, I guess it's just the same thing to make sure you're
Kinda
covered.
Like the pastor said, though, you got to be aware. Yes, that's where Jesus walked, but you got the Muslims and Jews and probably 100 different sects
Right.
over there, of different religions, and you don't know what they're worshiping.
What's this here? Read in this article here I'm reading that one of the more controversial theories. I like the theory process.
Okay.
Suggests that the Jerusalem syndrome has been around before Christianity, and may have actually contributed to the founding of the religion.
Oh.
This theory suggests that historical biblical figures such as John the Baptist. Now, I'm not going to tell you why. So why are you reading it? Because I'm going to tell you the reason they're doing it.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're putting that in there.
Uh-huh.
Do you see the reason that they would put that there? That the theory suggests that historical biblical figures such as John the Baptist, the apostles, and even Jesus Christ were affected by the syndrome. This, however, does not provide an explanation for the origins of the phenomenon. So in the article, when they're writing about this here, they're talking about that. They're saying, okay, if you're seeing people with this now, let's go back. How far back does this go?
Right.
So John the Baptist was affected by it. Jesus was affected by it. The apostles were affected by it. And they're saying, okay, this is bringing slight on the Christian faith, on the truth.
Right. Right.
So it's a deception to uproot especially for those who are agnostic, who doesn't know. And then when they start reading about this, oh, there you go. I mean, these people here are crazy. And it makes someone who is trying to search out God, who are on the fringes of God, of knowing about Christianity, when they start searching and hearing about it, it totally wipes them off the map. So now I ain't even going to believe none of this at all.
Wow.
Well, that syndrome didn't include heathen people.
Well,
That's right.
Well, that's what I look at. Is like these two witnesses that we're talking about, and so when we're talking about the two witnesses, let me get back to that for real quick. Jump back there real quick because we only got 13 minutes. Man, we could have done 2 hours on this thing. But here's the thing: is when we're talking about the two witnesses, and at the Book of Revelation, chapter 11. It says it will be for 1,260 days or 42 months. So a person who says, are we in tribulation? This is the key that I always use myself.
Mm-hmm.
I always use this here because, you know, you got all these signs and you got all this happening.
Yeah.
And the sign to me, are there two witnesses in Jerusalem right now who fire is coming out of their mouth, who's bringing forth plagues, who is smiting the earth as much as they want and people all around, tormenting the world for 42 months, the first 42 months of tribulation. Even when they're having a peacetime and they're working all this out, there are going to be two men over there who are preaching, two men over there who are pointing people to God in supernatural events. And I ask you now, are those events happening?
No.
And if they're not, we're not in tribulation.
Right.
Amen.
I don't care if you believe in pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib, whatever. It's not started yet.
Right.
And that's
right.
how I know if you believe in pre-trib and you hear on Fox News and they show you a video of two men over there walking around in togas, and you know, and they're spitting fire out of the mouth, calling out plagues, then you can say, baby, we don't believe in pre-trib no more.
We believe in mid-trib.
We moved on. Yeah, we are past the tribulation beginning. We are in it. So I've asked my friends who believe in that. I said, well, are we? Oh yeah, we're in it. I said, well, where are they at? I said, how do you parse this out? How do you work this out?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we can be wrong, but we can't be wrong about 42 months.
Right.
They're going to be doing this for 42 months.
Right.
The first part.
Yeah.
And then the second part. I mean, he tells you very much this is what you're going to expect. So I look at that over there anyway in that.
I think of a newscast coming on and saying, you know, oh, we see there's two
This just
people
in.
here. This just in. Two, you know that Jerusalem syndrome. We've got two crazies
Yeah.
here now. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, these fires coming out of their mouth.
Yeah, duh. Everybody says duh.
You know what I mean? Wait a minute, this is different. There's actual fire. Maybe this is the real
They said,
thing.
what was that? that was that flamethrower. Ooh, don't talk about them no more.
So I mean, you think about that though.
Yeah.
And I know it's a little off topic, but reading in there how it says when they die, how the people are going to celebrate.
Yeah.
It's like they're going to be talking and the people are going to say, I wish they would shut up.
Yeah.
I wish they would just stop saying it, you know.
And they leave them dead in the street for 3 days. That's significant too.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, what happens is that, say, when Muslims kill people, they don't bury them right away.
Right.
They desecrate the bodies.
Right.
So
For 3 days.
For 3 days, they desecrate their bodies. Like when they drag our people through the streets, or
they leave them there so people can kick them and spit on
exactly.
them and do whatever. Yeah, that's what they'll be doing to those 3 witnesses.
So that's a good indication of who will be leading the country when this happens.
Exactly.
Yes.
The religion. Right.
Yeah.
So most
Religion,
people believe
yes.
that the Antichrist will be and
other than Christian.
Yeah, we're not.
It will be other than Christian. Yes.
Yeah, other than Christians, and so they believe that. But here, the point I want to make on this one here is that, because I'm glad you brought that up, was this here. That's the only time, we're talking about Christmas. It's the only time in the Bible that you read about where they swap gifts with each other.
Oh.
In the Bible. That they send gifts to each other because they are dead. It doesn't talk about sending gifts back and forth because Jesus was born.
Yeah.
Right.
They send gifts back and forth to each other because they are dead. And that's the only time in the scriptures when you see about that. I'm not trying to knock anybody's socks off or anything. I'm just trying to make a point. This is probably the only time, an appropriate time for me to preach about it, or to say anything about it. Because you don't want to say this around Christmas time. I can tell you that.
Right.
It's not a good time for that.
Wow. And
So,
can you imagine though when when God raised them back to life?
That's what I was
the pandemonium, the stuff that's going to just
And they all hear what? Remember what the scripture says? They all hear a voice. Everybody hears a voice. When they're raised back to life, they hear this, "Come up hither."
And they go up. Wow, yeah.
They go
it
up.
said many believe them, and then they start praising God.
Yeah, are they going to call that a phenomenon?
Right.
And if you don't believe this is real, what's going to happen? There's going to be a great earthquake right after that takes place, and it's a very significant number. I'm going to tell you what, this is so cool here, is they're going to tell you that there are, how many is going to die?
7,000.
7,000 will die because of the earthquake. So what's going to happen? You ready? They're going to go, how many died yesterday? How many died? So we got 5,001. We got 6,999. No, they're supposed to be. You're right. There's 7,000 dead. And say, well, I think that was newspaper that was written in the Bible.
Right.
7,000 died. That's how that's going to work out. They're going to know that what they're reading and what they're seeing and what they're hearing, that's already been prophesied in the Bible. And when they see the flames come up and they see the men go up and all this stuff, and so here's so I got a real good news article for everybody right now.
Okay,
you ready for this? So after you see them say there's 7,000 men died, and you didn't go up with them, huh? You talking about mid-trib? And you didn't, and so that's what everybody's saying.
Right.
Come up hither. That's okay. Okay, we're supposed to go on up with them.
Right.
All right, we're supposed to go on up with them.
Okay.
And you hear the report that there are.
Then you know.
They say you don't believe in mid-trib no more either. You're going all the way on through the post. You're going all the way to the end
all
on
the
this
way
thing.
to the end.
Yep. You see, you're going all the way.
So a question here. During this time when these two witnesses are on the earth over there, I've heard people say before, well, all of that's just going to be happening over there. That's just
no. Hear what it said. The whole world.
Well, I know, but
Right.
you hear people say, "Oh, well, when that stuff goes on, it's just going to be there. It's not really going to affect us on this,
Well, they better
where
read.
we're at." And I'm like, "Wow, how can you say that?"
Yeah, signs. There'll be signs and wonders to the whole world,
Everybody going
all around the world, and there'll be some things that would be local, but most
Right,
it would be
right.
happening. It would be happening worldwide.
What's the famous CNN reporter with the white hair?
Wolf Blitzer?
Yeah, I can't wait to see him with singed hair sitting there.
No, we don't want to see him.
Don't go too close. Don't go too close.
This is CNN reporting, and these dudes got fire coming out of their mouth. Wow. I mean, it's going to be
awesome.
And to think that people still won't believe.
Right.
How will they? No,
Right.
they'll believe at that time. They will make a conscious choice to reject.
Yeah. That's
Exactly.
what even like when we're with Jesus and walking and the babies are born, then they're going. Everybody that's born during that time will get a chance to choose. How can you choose no?
after.
I don't know. I don't know how you
because when
could.
it says he's loose to deceive for a while, I'm like, well, how could you choose?
Even if it was, even with this, even if you just said yes out of fear,
right?
You know, okay, that's it.
Right.
You know, you're true, you're right, I'm giving in. But to still, because it says that the nations were enraged after this happened. The nations were enraged. Like, how are people still not going to submit?
Right.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
That's unfathomable.
Right. I
don't either. It's kind of one of those.
But if you watch the news and if you just look around you,
that's going to be fake news.
Well, I mean, if you just look around.
So let's do this here.
I'm just saying, you know, everything's fake news.
They're building up to that.
Yeah.
So a person
right.
who is going to go there, Christian. Let's talk about from University Parkway.
Okay.
Because see, the rest of the people don't believe that they can be affected.
Okay.
See what I mean? So we're talking about those who believe in deliverance.
Okay.
And who believes in the supernatural. And it's really supernatural, what we're talking about. So if you're going to go over there, then you need to be aware of this spirit.
Right.
And what would be a good thing to do would be to bind any spirit, and if you're staying anywhere or going anywhere, to bind any Jesus syndrome, Jerusalem syndrome spirit, that you would be there and speak against it. You know what I'm talking about? And you need to,
pray for protection over your mind and,
exactly.
and all
Put
that
the
stuff,
armor
you
of
know.
God on.
Yeah.
So when you're aware of that,
then you know when you just
can
walk.
protect yourself of it as you're going there. So anybody who's going to that place, even in Jerusalem, anyway whatsoever, you don't need to be on a spiritual high going. You need to be more armored than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to be aware of that, but you need to bind any spirit that would be operating in a religious
that would
spirit.
try to attack.
Because we might call it the Jerusalem syndrome spirit, or whatever they are. But you would have to. There would be some demonic entity that is actually. I'm not saying possessing you,
right?
But we're talking about controlling you,
affecting you,
affecting your mind and what have you, mind control spirit or whatever that is,
right?
That is there, but it actually and again they say at the end of a couple of weeks they come back to themselves and say, what just happened to me?
They don't even know.
And think about this here, and a spirit of impersonating Jesus, that you think about demons want to use people's bodies.
Sure.
just like mediums. So if you're like a medium going there, I only got 3 minutes. If you're you're going there as a medium, they open themselves up. They're receptive to the spirit that's in the room. Well, when you become a Christian as well, you have to guard your mind, guard your spirit, because you're opening yourself up and you say, Lord, I want to hear from you, what have you. Next thing you know, there's a spirit. Don't believe every spirit, but try the spirit.
Right.
I wonder why they mean to. I wonder why. But if you're a Christian, it still can't bother you. That's what all these churches say. But the Bible tells us to try the spirits because every spirit's not of God.
Right.
And anyway. So anyway, you have
and
to really
that's in
protect
1 John.
yourself.
If people want to look at that, I think it's chapter 3.
And is there? Anybody got anything else last to say here? We got Rachel says she just got home a little bit ago and swapped over to the radio and listening there. So I like Jenny. Thank you for tuning in, Jenny, and sharing this with everybody else. Anybody else on here?
I think that's all I've got too. But be sure later on this is going to be uploaded on YouTube, and we'll put the link out there that you can share it for
2
those.
minutes, y'all.
And anytime you log on here and you like the program, you need to go ahead and share it to your page too, and share it so your friends can see it, and encourage them to watch it every Friday night. We've got some awesome shows on Facebook Live here on the radio station.
Good.
Yes, we do.
There you go. I'm going to let y'all bow on out because our time is up. We got to land this. We got to fly on back from Jerusalem real quick, get back here in the studio, get out of Jerusalem.
That's right, out of
There you
Jerusalem.
go.
Well, I'm Dana Turner. It's been a pleasure tonight.
All right.
I'm Bill Turner. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this. That was awesome, Dana.
JFK, love you.
Dana Works. Good night, everybody. Thanks.
All right. God bless. I'm your host, Henry Schaefer. Thanks for tuning in tonight. It's really supernatural. I'm Henry Schaefer, and I want to thank you for listening to It's Really Supernatural program. Now tune in next week for more Acts of the Holy Spirit.